about it is like
Really
everyone who
grinds my
defends it.
gears. How are people defending it? What's their defense?
That if you are on that bubble of a roster, what does it matter at that point? Or like, he's worked his butt off, so
They
why are
obviously
we?
don't. They obviously don't understand how difficult it is to make a 53-man roster in the
Yeah,
NFL.
There's a lot of people working their butts off in the gyms as it is. Like,
absolutely.
Everybody
doesn't mean
works
you
their
deserve
butt
a
off
shot.
in the NFL. I mean, you wouldn't be there if you didn't work your butt off. I mean, he just does
Right.
not deserve the opportunity, though, in my opinion. His last snap was 10 years ago. Just about.
Right.
All right, let's check these levels. We're looking real professional.
Right.
Yeah, man, that background's sick, man.
That's my living room right now, so we'll just kind of move stuff around and make it look legit.
It does look. It looks really nice. Like
Looks good,
you'd
man.
think you were professional sports talk with a background like that.
Yeah, I learned from the best.
Ah, that's not me. You already see me sports talk. I'm not the greatest at sports talk. You want to know why? I think who did I talk to about it? I think I talked to Chris Borland about it the other day, and he made a good point. He was like, "Well, we've been taught for so long to block out the outside noise, and now I am the outside noise."
It's funny how it goes go like that.
All right.
You got just a couple minutes.
After this commercial, yep.
Yeah, I ran a commercial so that when people come in, they don't have commercials. They just get to sit right in and enjoy for a little bit.
Oh, let me.
It's very nice.
Carrie, good morning, Carrie.
Morning, Carrie.
Good to see you, Carrie, as always. Morning, Lion.
Lion, what's up, man?
Hey.
We got Dan the Man on. All right, still in the ad, and that was the last ad right there, and we are we're golden.
Everybody ready?
Indeed.
Ready.
All right. Welcome and thank you for tapping into some Untapped Keg. I am one of your hosts, RJ Zimmerman, here with my good friend, Monte Ball. How you doing, big guy?
I'm good. I'm excited for today, man. I've been excited. I've obviously been excited for every single guest that we've had. That excitement will never go away. I'm very excited for our guest today, but before we hop into that, I'm doing well, RJ. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm really excited. We've had guests before, but this one is extra special to both of our hearts. And I can remember when we put up just like random questions on Facebook, like a month or so after we started the podcast, and we had one person ask questions, and it was this guy, Dan the Man Anderson. How you doing, sir? Thank you for joining us.
I'm good. Thank you, fellas, for having me on. Thanks for letting me tap in.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. Let's listen. RJ already touched on it there real quickly. That's the truth, man. You've been our number one fan, and I don't want that to come off in a bad way for other people, but he was our number one guy who's been with us since from the start. Dan the Man. This is awesome to have you on, man. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I appreciate everything you guys talk about and stand for. I was lucky enough to be there from the beginning, so it's awesome to see it come along the way it has.
That's pretty cool, man. We really appreciate it. We do. It's humbling for us for sure. And we most definitely will never forget this. So we thank you, man. We thank you.
Thank you guys too.
So let's hop right into it, man. Let's so for our audio listeners, this man Dan the Man, for one, looking good. Two, he's got a great background right now. And let's go ahead and describe that, man. Let's get into those bobbleheads again. Pre-show you spoke about them, but let's share again right now because those are pretty sweet, man. Those bobbleheads you got up there. Who you got up there?
Well, these are some of my favorites. I've been collecting bobbleheads for many years, but I'll start over here. Got Prince Fielder, got Chris Farley, got Robin Yount, Bob Uecker, right up here, Kristen Yelich, Bango, Bernie. Actually got a little Bob Ross right here.
That's awesome.
Bucky Badger. And we got Giannis over there, Vince Lombardi, Hank Aaron, and Brett Favre.
So you like Wisconsin, huh?
I'm a big Wisconsin sports fan.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah. I mean, man, that's some awesome stuff, man. RJ, I'll let you take it over, man. And then we're gonna dive into some pretty cool stuff that we got, man, for you today.
Well, the first thing, I think it's the kind of the start of the podcast. So for those who don't know, we started as just an audio podcast, and once a week, like I'd go on Facebook and I'd ask if anybody had any questions to ask, and that's where Dan would kind of ask questions. There was a little bit of a rivalry at the start where we get the Dan the Man from. So, with yogurt. So you did have to discern yourself. So we had two Dans, and so I knew the other Dan. We used to be roommates, and I always called him Yogurt because he called himself the Danimal. And anybody who doesn't know, Danimal or Danimals is like a kid's yogurt kind of a thing. So that's where that comes from. And then Dan, I think maybe, he had to put himself in there. He's like, this is from Dan the Man. And asking the questions. So that's what we've known you since then. So when we first started the podcast, and you were asking questions and we were answering them, I guess that was, I don't know how it felt for you, but it was awesome to have somebody there asking us questions to let us know that somebody was listening. And I guess I don't have a question in there. I just wanted to let you know my appreciation for that.
Yeah. So I got a question though, man. Let's go ahead and dive deep into what we wanted to talk about today, man. Are you comfortable with that?
Definitely.
Cool, man. So I know that obviously RJ and I have been very open about our recovery journey, about what we struggled with, and what we understand what we're going to struggle with until we're in the ground. And the purpose of this podcast was obviously to create a platform for folks to just feel safe to talk about some things. It's therapy in a way, and you got folks who care about you. And what you've shared with us is, how about this? I'll let you share that. About how this podcast has helped you out, man, and what are some things that have changed in your life since we started?
Well, I just think this podcast is a prime example of community outreach that we can all get behind. Something simple and easy to do, and sobriety and life after can be tough on anybody, and it's not always achievable by yourself. So it's good to have that outlet.
Absolutely, man.
Really appreciate you guys just reaching out, saying, "Hey, you got a problem? Give me a message on Facebook," or that's really respectable what you guys do, and I just kind of liked it from the beginning, and here we are now. So
that's awesome, man. And again, I didn't want for this to be about us. The goal is, we want to know more about Dan the Man, and I know that you shared some stuff via Messenger, and I don't want to share it before you share it. And whenever you feel comfortable kind of diving into that, then we'll most definitely take off and start asking you some questions.
All right. Well, I'm Dan Anderson, Dan the Man, 31 years of age, born and raised in the Madison area. I currently am a journeyman machinist I run a CNC lathe. A little bit about my sobriety journey. I'm not completely a dry person, but I have really cut back from past experiences. I mean, I was a bartender at the age of 18. For the most part, it was a good experience. It was a fun job. Thought I was king of the world, though, being behind the bar at 18. Like, that's a lot of power in my mind. The stigma around me at the time was a very heavy drinking culture. I was encouraged to drink by the people around me from their actions. Nobody forced me, but nobody stopped me until a Saturday afternoon shift. I was having a little bit too much fun. While I was left alone a few hours behind the bar, it was a slow day and I got completely smashed behind the bar. My boss showed up and to me puking in the bathroom and making a fool of myself. And that was when I was cut from the bartending staff. So luckily for me, they continued to let me cook there and keep my job. They were good people. They knew the hardships that young 18-year-olds would face behind a bar. So they didn't set me up for success, that's for sure. But
oh yeah, I can only imagine if I was 18 and a bartender, RJ.
In the Wisconsin.
How would you have been, RJ, as a bartender at 18?
The alcohol orders, they'd be like, why are we ordering so much vodka? And oh man, it would have been, because at 18, that would have been, that's a recipe for, would have been like Captain, spiced rum. Well, why do we have to order 5 more bottles than we normally would? Like,
Dan the man, that's for one, man, takes a lot of courage just right there to share that. Because we're not the only ones listening right now. We got folks who are in our chat who you're familiar with who just listen to you share that. So for one, man, that takes a lot of courage, and we appreciate you sharing that here on our show. And the second thing I got for you, man, is, so you've mentioned that, of course, you have not gone completely sober, which people don't have to do that. There were many different ways up that hill, million ways up the hill. There are many different pathways you can take towards whatever your recovery is to you. And so if you feel comfortable, man, I'd love for you to dive into that. So you stated that you only maybe once or twice a year you drink, maybe 3 times, whatever that may be. And I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that and why you've made that decision.
All right. Yeah. I mean, after bartending, I also continued to drink heavily for a while, up until after 21 for sure. I would black out and wake up places I've never been.
Oh yeah.
I've also woken up with my pants wet. I don't know if I pissed myself, most likely, but hey, that's a pretty shitty feeling. Did not like myself at that time. I never really established a sense of purpose. I went back to school around the age of 24. I was just trying something new, trying to put myself out there. And my dad knew I was going through a drinking phase and always pushed me to call him no matter the time of day. So I had great people in my background and in my corner, and not everyone has that. So I've been very fortunate and very lucky. He also said the same things to all my friends, and he was a man of his word. He'd wake up at 3 a.m. and come get you if you were just rolling around in your own puke, Yeah. He's done it a few times for me. Yeah. But after that, I became the first person in my immediate household to ever obtain a college degree. I was trying to establish my place in the world.
There you go.
It's a great feeling to start over with a new environment. A job is a job, but a career is a lifelong commitment to yourself and the people around you. Changing your environment can have a real impact on your sobriety. I started working with people who encouraged me to be myself and to use my talents to positively impact the world.
That's awesome, man. Wow.
I mean,
this man.
When you said you're a journeyman's machinist, and you said, you run a CNC, the first thing that tells me about you, you're pretty detail oriented, aren't you? Because you have to be a journeyman, machinists like that. That's incredible.
I love pushing new kids to the trades, and trades
Same.
We don't have enough people in the trades, and
right. That is a fact.
It's a very positive thing for people too. It's paying jobs, good life skills. You can obtain a lot from the right job.
Definitely. That's what I really want to, one of my goals is to get people into line work, but it's the same thing. It's the trades. So trying to go to schools and just let people know about these jobs, that A, they exist. B, it's not a 4-year degree. You're not going to be drowning in debt when you leave. And C,
Definitely.
It's a lot higher paying than you realize. I mean, it's a straight ticket to the middle class to get a trades job. And I commend you for also trying to push kids into the trades, because that's, to me, the biggest hurdle is that nobody knows about it. Nobody thinks about it. We push kids to these 4-year universities, which is great, but that you leave and it's overpriced now. You're not getting what you pay for. And you can when you go to tech school.
Yeah, that can be a 4-hour conversation talking about banks and how us humans are assets to banks and how that all plays a part in media pushing 4-year universities. It's a cycle, and it's deliberate because of those interest rates. But aside from that, man, okay, so you've spoken, you've shared, and first off, man, seriously, we most definitely commend you, man, for sharing this information. You're an awesome guy, man. And so it sounds like I got my recovery coach book here, man. And it sounds like I was doing a little bit of digging into it last night after we finished speaking the other day, just real quickly via social media. I dove into this because it sounds like to me, man, you fall in types of recovery. There's different types of recovery. Right. One is abstinence based, which is the one that me and RJ are on. You just completely refrain from using. Then you have one that's called medication assisted recovery, which is the use of medically monitored pharmaceutical. I can never say that word. Pharmacological. Yeah, it is. Drugs to support recovery from addiction. And then we got the third one. And I think that's where you fall. And again, I'm not here to categorize you, of course, but just kind of for our listeners, there are 3 different types, probably 4, probably 5 now, different types of recovery. And it sounds like you are more moderation based. Does that sound right?
Definitely. Yeah.
And I'll read it to you. So it says the sustained deceleration of alcohol, other drug use, and or gambling to a subclinical level that is a level that no longer meets diagnostic criteria. Does it sound like you?
Yeah, that's pretty correct.
Absolutely. And I think that's a very powerful one as well, too. I think all 3 of these work, and there's a significant amount of data that states that these are successful pathways. So how has that been for you, Dan the Man?
It's pretty good for me. I mean, luckily, I hate the taste of alcohol, so it makes it easy. I really had to go after the girly drinks, or vodka was my go-to because I could cover it up, I was just drinking for the people around me, kind of. I mean, it was fun. Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't. Like, I had great times sometimes, and I've also had some terrible times, and I'm going to go through that. I've watched people ruin their lives through addiction in countless ways, from finances to relationships to money problems and even death. It's not fun.
I've ruined many relationships because of alcohol. That is where I fall. And this is getting deep, man. This is getting deep.
Same.
Hey, we may have lived through a pandemic this last year, but substance abuse has been an epidemic since the beginning of time, with no end in sight. To be able to have a community for people who want change for the better is an awesome thing to have. That's true, why I relate to you guys in so many ways. I mean, yeah, I can still have a drink, and you guys can't, and that's your choice. And I commend that. That's got to be tough,
It's got to be tough cutting back. There is no gatekeeping. There is no my pathway is tougher than yours. Everybody's lives are different. Everybody is affected differently with substance use. And it sounds like it's working for you. Your pathway is working. And that's all that matters, man. You're present in your kids' lives, present in your significant other's life. You're present in your own life. You're present in your friend's life, work, etc. So you're not being affected in any way, shape, or form with your pathway. So to me, it sounds like it's working.
Try to stay positive, and what impacts me in any different ways, health wise, and it impacts my family and everyone around me, friends as well.
Yeah.
We're all in this recovery together.
Indeed we are.
That's true. That is the truth. So
I just spilled.
Cutting back, I almost feel like, and I know we weren't going to talk about this, but cutting back would be a little tougher in Wisconsin. And the reason being, when I say that I don't drink, it's just that I don't drink. And people usually, they get a little bit taken aback by that. But then when you still drink and you tell people, oh, I'm not going to drink tonight, like they've seen you drink, so they'll push a little harder to try to get you to take that one.
And all my friends are drinkers, so
yeah,
it doesn't help.
So that's actually a good segue, RJ, because that is a good question that we should ask you. So how have you trained yourself to stop? Okay, I'll have one, I'll have two, and then boom, I'm done. Like that does take a lot of power to be able to just have that willpower to cut it off.
No, one thing I try to do is just stay out of the bars. That's one of the most encouraging places for me. So if you're around the right people, find the right ways to do things. There's no real answer. I just wanted to do it for myself. I want to do it for the people around me too,
But that is the answer. That is it. That you did it for yourself, and then it has helped everybody else around you. And that's what we've been saying. It's the most selfish decision that you can make, right? And you did it. You're doing it. It's awesome. We both commend you.
100%.
How has that helped you, like, with your friends? Not just with your partner and your little ones, but your friends in general. Have they noticed a change in you, or do they sometimes maybe wish that you would drink a little bit more with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the pandemic helped me a little bit. It keeps me away from some, but I have really great friends, and they would never try to force me to drink. And if I didn't want to, they're okay with it. We'll hang out and
that's good.
Play some frisbee, or do something fun. I love going to movies and playing video games. I still got a few guys that I do that with.
Nice.
That's awesome.
We got a game, man. We got a game. For sure. Us three got a game.
Definitely.
It's some of that Knockout City going.
That's a must.
Never played that. Never heard of that.
It
actually.
just came out.
Dodgeball.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, it's fun, man.
That's awesome.
It's fun. But I like that question, though. I think I kind of want to dive a little bit more into that before we get into the video game talk. And because what we're going to do, part 3, like we always like to do on the show, is, what's helping you to stay on your recovery path. Before we get there, man, I want to dive more into what you have gained. Because, again, we don't want to dwell too much in the past, because you are in a better position now. You look good, feeling good. It sounds like you got great connections with all who you love around you. So what have you gained, man? If there was one thing that you've gained since you've hopped on your recovery path, what is that, man?
I think I've gained a lot of respect for people that are putting themselves out there and trying. You don't have to succeed every time, but as long as you're trying, that's what really matters. You don't.
It's true.
Instead of having 5 beers, hey, maybe you had 2 or 3. There's a step right there. It's just small little things. You don't have to completely go sober, which it does work for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. And
I agree. I agree, man. You're so level headed, man. That's awesome.
I try to be positive, and I feel like that comes back to me with positivity. So
yeah,
project onto others what you want projected onto you.
So Jenny's asking some good questions that I'd like to bring in here on the chat.
Oh yeah.
Have,
Jenny, good to see you, Jenny, by the way. Good to see everybody in the chat.
She was saying about like hard work and then trades, you know, it is hard work, and we have our 40 hours a week. Have you noticed that your coworkers drink a little bit more than maybe they should, like go home and have a few beers or anything like that? Have you noticed like the culture there has a little bit more drinking? Or not really at your job?
My job is we got like a 35-man person shop, and it's a pretty good age.
Yeah.
I mean, our average age is 31, which is rare in jobs like that. My boss is like, most people, the average machinist is like 55 years old, just about ready to retire. Like, we don't have people coming up behind us. Like, the job opportunities are there. And they definitely, I mean, I got some young kids that I work with too that they're going to go through that phase just like we all did.
Yep.
But the quality of workmanship there is, people are pushing themselves, so it's not like they're trying to ruin their, I mean, nobody tries to ruin their life, obviously, but nobody, I don't know, depending on who you talk to, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard to answer that question, but you know, I go from a bar restaurant, worked there for over 10 years, and this is night and day difference. I'm not getting drunk at work. It's big difference, you know.
True. Jenny's got another good point in the chat as well that I think you both of you guys can answer. Jenny's next point that she made in the chat. Because I'm not in the trade world, but you both are.
Well, I was just gonna say, I know for like linemen, or well, I guess like the utility side of things, you know, alcohol is glorified, and I'm one of the very, very few who don't partake in drinking. So when it comes to that, like I do notice, and I know my dad has also, you know, there's a lot. There's a lot afterwards, you know. You talk about going home and mixing that first drink, and then that goes like 3 or 4. But I have not. I will say that people have respected that I don't drink, to the point where if we go out to eat, they make sure that they have a soda ready for me or a non-alcoholic drink. Like, they really do respect that. And I have had people that have told me they can't trust me because they can't have a beer with me, but that's very few and far between. Like, that doesn't it doesn't happen too often, especially when you start talking, you know, like some people are like, oh, I think I'd really like to get drunk with you. You seem like you'd be a fun drunk. I'm like, yeah, I'd be fun until I'm not. Like, that's the thing. So
same way.
See, for me, that would be hard not to. And again, we're not calling any people out. We're just sharing right now, and it would be very difficult for me to not take any to not take any offense to that. I mean, I'd be like, so I need to spice myself up for you to like me. It's
and
like
I just laughed it off. I was like, oh yeah, and I didn't think about anything of it, because I just didn't. It depends on how you take it too. So like, you know, if you want to take it that way, right, you can. That's but you know, if you laugh a little bit, and you can just move past it, and it's just another comment that somebody said. But
it's true.
When they bring it up like 3 or 4 times, that's when it becomes an issue. But one other thing that Jenny asked is, does the online community help sobriety? She said because mental health wise, people around her, they didn't carry the same values, so she was feeling weighed down. But she said finding the supporters online with the same values empowered her to stay on her path. So have you noticed that like online that has helped you a little bit, Dan the Man, like finding a community?
Definitely. I mean, obviously, like a lot of you guys, some of my closest friends are all drinkers, like I don't have many. Luckily I have my parents. They never drank, just for health reasons. They did in their early days, but when I was around, they didn't. So I'd never seen either one of my parents drunk. That I think has a big impact on me. So that's what I want my children to go through. Like, I don't want to put that on. And I've seen parents that have made fools of themselves in front of their kids, and it's just not that cool, And
right.
And the online community has definitely helped me just find a source to have like people like mine talk. It's just something simple that we can all do. Be a sense of community.
I love it, man. We have not met you in person, but
yet.
Hopefully that. Yep. I was gonna say, hopefully that day comes, man, because sounds like you're on the same wavelength as us, man. Same wavelength. And again, we are in a comfortable place in our recovery journey to where if we were ever to go grab some food at a restaurant and you wanted a beer,
we
fine.
Just sat at a bar and had appetizers on Friday.
We did. Yeah, we were at a bar.
I had a lemonade and a coffee.
Sat at the bar. Yeah.
Just growing up in the bar, I always liked the bar atmosphere. That was just fun,
Yep.
I love going to the bar and watching a game and just talking with buddies. It's fun, and I get that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's you knew what you needed to change, and you did it. For one, no, excuse me. Let me take a step even further back. You recognized it, then you did it, and now you were in a comfortable place to speak about it. And obviously, I'm sure your loved ones around you would be able to speak highly of you since you've made your decision, because it sounds like it's working. So that literally, man, you got to point at yourself on that one, man, and give yourself some credit for doing this, because it's not easy. And let's just be honest, as RJ stated earlier, in the state of Wisconsin, let's be real here. Whenever I talk about my story, I don't blame the state of Wisconsin, because at the end of the day, every single adult, every single person, you have a decision, you have a choice. Every single decision that you make is going to impact you either right now or maybe impact you a couple of years down the road. You don't know that. But let's be honest here. In the state of Wisconsin, alcohol is advertised in a very different way. It's more glorified than it is elsewhere. So
yeah,
it is very tough here.
And it's not just that alcohol is more glorified. It's and it is a rite of passage, but it's how much you can drink at one time is glorified in a rite of passage. Like if you can't drink a 12-pack by yourself, you're a lightweight. People like you because you're cheap, but like that's what it is. And that's no joke. That is absolutely no joke. I remember the first time my buddy and I polished off 2 full 30 packs by ourselves. And that feeling of pride, I tell you what, like, I mean, it was like we hit a game winner in a basketball game. Like, that's how much pride we had. Was that the last one? No, wait, what? Oh my, I can't believe we did it. Like, all over, just like screaming and yelling, because obviously we're just hammered. And
no, that's cool.
Funny,
hey, Dan,
it's funny to laugh about now, but at the same time, you look back and it's like, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I never want to change my past. That's what made us we are today. So,
listen, Dan the Man, you got somebody in the comments right now that I have to share this with you before it moves pretty quickly. But Lion said, and this is straight to you, Dan. Dan, it is cool to get to know the person behind the Twitch username. That's what Lion's sharing with you. We're getting
Appreciate
claps. Jenny's clapping at you, for you.
It's kind of hard to tell. I'm a terrible speller, so Some every other message is like, what is this guy saying? Is he still drunk?
Man, you're getting great feedback, man. You're getting great feedback in our chat because you're so open, man, and because you there's some authenticity with each word that comes out of your mouth that's rare today, very rare. So, part 3, Dan the Man, how do you stay on track? What helps you to stay on track?
You got to find yourself a hobby. It comes down to it. You can't just sit in a room and stare at yourself and you get into your head, like,
yeah.
Right now I got 2 children. One's 4 and one is almost 1. So they take up a lot of my time right now.
1?
She'll be 1 this month.
We've been going for a year, RJ.
Time go.
Right?
I remember the first time I commented, I saw your picture and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Wow.
It's hard to believe.
It is. That's awesome. That's so awesome.
She's a big time daddy's girl. I don't know why. Her mom does way more for her than I do. So
is it true? Is it true, man? So I have a son. My son is 5. I don't have a daughter. But is it true when a father having a daughter, does that impact you in a different way than because you have a boy and a girl, right?
Yep.
Is it a different relationship with your daughter than it is with your son? Not in a negative way, but you know what I mean? Does it make you more compassionate? Does it make you more empathetic?
Every time I walk in her room, she gives me the biggest grin. I'm very afraid for my wallet for the future. She continues to melt my heart the way she does.
She already got it. She already got the trick of she's going to get you, daddy's little girl.
They both get me too, though, because if I buy a toy for my son, most likely it's one that I wanted when I was younger, so we get to play together.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
It's the best part about having a son.
Right. I got them into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so they love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And now I got them both into Ghostbusters, the animated series. It's like, done. If they don't like Star Wars, I'm going to be a little bit heartbroken. But at the same time, I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters. Let's go.
My son's a big Rey fan from Star Wars. That's his favorite character.
Awesome.
Nice.
Favorite character.
Nice.
I'm still old school Star Wars, but hey, they're still cool, the new ones.
Me too.
They are.
So outside of your family, Dan the Man, it sounds like obviously your children, you wake up every single day and you see your children, and that immediately reminds you why you need to stay on the track that you're on, the path that you're on. Other than that, man, what is it? What are some of the hobbies? It seems like you like collecting bobbleheads. Like what is something that Dan the Man does that is for himself? Your kids are asleep, your significant other is, I don't know, watching TV or sleep. What do you do to help yourself?
I'm a big time Warzone guy.
There you go.
I spend a lot of time on Warzone. Also, I love animals, and we have a zoo at my house. I got 3 cats, 2 dogs, 2 parakeets, 2 ducks, 3 goats, 25 chickens. So, I spend a lot of time with them too. And we just got a rabbit too. Other week. So
why is everybody getting rabbits?
Right?
Yeah, I know.
I remember Dan saying that on chat on Thursday. Was Dan just got a rabbit when Noshan just got a rabbit?
Yeah, everybody's getting rabbits. Am I missing something?
Bugs, right? You named your rabbit Bugs.
It looks like Bugs too. It's got the same colors.
Sounds like a zoo. Let me read some of the stuff that's coming in for you, Dan the Man. Jenny's asking if you stream, Dan.
I do not. I got into streaming pretty much as soon as I started watching your guys' podcast. I never really heard or seen a podcast till probably a year and a half ago. I just started getting into it at work, and like, this is kind of cool. It's different than just music. I'm a big time music fan. I love all sorts of music.
Awesome.
Well, with the radio too, do you listen to the radio at work, or did you have a streaming service? So
now I stream through iHeartRadio. I actually got the premium, so I can listen to any song I want, or they got a lot of podcasts too.
Yeah, that is awesome. Because one thing, like listening to the radio at work, because sometimes if we're in the same spot, we'll set a radio up and everything, but it's the same. It's literally the same 4 songs every 20 minutes, and then it's the same commercials every 2 minutes, and it's like I can't do this anymore. So that's why I started listening to podcasts. Even like I would stream like Pandora and stuff at work when I was a locator, and I just can't. I couldn't do it. It was just like the commercials coming through again, and then it would repeat songs fairly often, and I was like, I want to listen to people talk about different subjects. Is basically how I started, and I started with Chris Hardwick back when he had Matt Myra and Jonah. Goodness, what's his name? I think it's Jonah Ray. And that was a lot of fun listening to their Nerdist podcast back then. But what podcast did you start with? What was your number one?
Ooh. Start with, I gotta think. Probably Two Bears, One Cave. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
No, I haven't, but I like that's a creative title though. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that name.
It's they're on the edge of a lot of it's a comedy act, and Bert Kreischer, I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Okay, yep, I know Bert. My brother's obsessed with Bert Kreischer.
I probably know his face.
Tom Segura too.
Tom Segura's with? Okay.
Yep, that's those two guys, and they're hilarious. But I mean, they ride the line a lot.
Yeah, Jenny's. Yeah, Jenny in the chat is sharing. RJ, that was a really good question. Thank you for answering that, Dan the Man too. Yeah, what is the first podcast that got you hooked? I'm a sucker for. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh no, you go.
No, I was going to share. I'm a sucker for conspiracies.
I listen to conspiracy podcasts, conspiracy theories on iHeartRadio. It's really good podcast.
I'm a sucker. So I got this. Have you heard this podcast, Duncan Trussell's Family Hour? Or that's what it's called. Just all conspiracies. I'm a sucker.
I'll have to get into that. I'm a big conspiracy guy too.
Oh, love it. They talk about
sounds like we might get into a little bit of MC squared.
Monty's well,
Monte's conspiracy corner.
I got a lot, man. I got a lot, and don't want to weird some people out, but
especially with that. I'm assuming that you guys saw the Navy or the Department of Justice release their UFO report.
Oh yeah, that was last year.
I figured when you two said you're a conspiracy theorist, you both had to have seen that.
We're waiting for the Pentagon. The Pentagon was supposed to June 1st, but I think they pushed it to June 29th. Because last year the CIA, which two separate entities, CIA doesn't have to answer to really anybody, and they released their report last year, and now the Pentagon is supposed to release their full disclosure, investigations, etc. this month. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyways, enough about it.
You want to watch a good show?
Yes, sir.
Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Ranch. Ooh.
It's about a ranch in, I think, Utah, and they have a lot of UFO encounters, and it's a pretty crazy show.
What's it on?
Well, I watch it on Sling. Which is it?
I'll find it. Skinwalker Ranch. I'll remember that.
Skinwalker Ranch. That's a really good.
Thank you, man.
It's going on right now, so it's on season 2, I believe. just started getting into it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, man. They're loving the conversation right now, Dan, man, and we got to give credit to you on that. You're taking us in a direction right now that folks are liking. Yogurt said, "Yeah, Monty, you're making me so happy right now." You don't.
Of course, you read that one.
Well, we got so much. We got something in common that you don't. So we love Batman versus Superman. You don't. But anyways,
it's not. It's fine. It's fine. It's just not the best movie ever. I'm sorry.
I'm on the edge with that too. I love Batman. I grew up a huge Batman fan. So
yeah,
I did like the concept, but I think they could have did a little better with it.
Okay.
Personally.
What's your favorite movie? Do you have a favorite? I know some people don't have a favorite movie, but
probably the time of day would be a different movie every time. Like,
how about this? What's a movie that you can watch countless times and it's almost close to the first time that you experienced it.
Come back to that one. Think about that.
Yeah.
Jenny has a good one. So I'm only bringing this up because we just watched it yesterday again. Inside Out. That's such a good Pixar movie. Like,
and I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, I did.
That's a really good one. I got one. I actually have a few of these. I have a few. So V for Vendetta. Every single time I watch that, it just gets me. Major League.
V for Vendetta for sure.
Major League is it's a comedy that I love that. And then my old school one, Ghostbusters.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
Gentlemen, have you seen Ghostbusters?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I have not. I still have yet to watch it from beginning to end. I've seen parts, you know what I mean? I've never watched.
He can't get over the fact that it was 1984 and the visual effects are not great.
They were great for that time.
Exactly. I still think they're actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I really like one of my movies that I grew up that almost changed my life in a way. The Patriot. You ever seen The Patriot?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen.
There's just so many levels of emotions, and I just love that movie.
Listen, Mel Gibson. I'm going to be full and transparent here. Mel Gibson had his fallout, his break, his mental health situation where, you know, his conversation with his wife. So I'm not a huge Mel Gibson fan after that because of his racial slurs. But when The Patriot comes on, have to watch it.
It's a good movie.
Have to watch it. Have to. That movie is really
it's like 4 hours, but it sucks you in every time.
Right. Jenny's asking the question in the chat. Jenny said, have we watched Soul? Have not watched it yet, but I heard, well, it won an award.
I've seen it. It's great.
Yeah,
I recommend that too.
You probably watched it with your kids?
Definitely.
Yeah. I think I've seen it 3 times so far.
I think I've seen it twice. So I love the way they explain things. It's a great thing for children to learn.
Right.
That's the same with Inside Out. Like, you know, my partner is a marriage and family therapist. And the first time that we saw, so psychology, she's big on psychology side of things. And first time we saw Inside Out, she's like, this is amazing for children. Just to be able to explain and visualize like the train of thought, seeing the train of thought. She's like, oh my good, I cannot believe that they had, what a great idea. Or like your dreams are playing and like, yeah. So, and then for them to take Soul and kind of do that same thing with like the afterlife and, you know, other people's kind of religions around things, like that was such, it was very, I like what they did. They have, their imagination is so big at Pixar that it's like, no matter what they touch, like one of their worst movies, The Good Dinosaur. I really like that movie. Like, I don't understand why people didn't like it. Like, it's a good movie.
I haven't seen it. I agree.
I've seen it. It's good.
It's we love what you think it's going to be.
Right. So other than Warzone, Danny man, which we're gonna have to play later today or tonight, if you're up for it, because I'm gonna be on later. But what else do you like to hop in, man? What other video games do you play? Because you know we play a lot over here. We're trying to see if there's anything we can connect on. With the video games,
I've been stuck on Warzone for like a year and a half, and this is the longest game I've ever been stuck on. But
awesome game.
It is a good game. I like Rocket League. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
One time I played with you, I didn't score anything, so that didn't make me look good. But
right. Real quick. So Freezy. Oh, I know him. They shared that their movie might be Ford. Their movie is Ford versus Ferrari. I have not seen that. But I think that's Christian Bale, right?
I haven't seen that either.
I think that's Christian Bale. I think so. And then they also shared, he's a big Warzone guy too.
Awesome.
So that's pretty cool stuff.
I'm not good at it, but I try.
We're getting some great feedback, Dan. We're gonna have to bring you on again, man, because people are liking you. And RJ and I are grateful.
Well, you guys built a really great community, and all the people you've had on have been great so far. So I find some quality people around, and that's pretty cool.
And again, man, we talked about it. RJ and I shared this when we grabbed lunch 2 days ago. Since you've been our first fan and been our fans since the show started up to this point, and hopefully moving forward after the show, man, we need your address. We'd love to send you something. Love to send you something, a gift for our appreciation.
Appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we got you, man. We got you. RJ, what you got, man?
So with your kids, I'm sure that you watch Paw Patrol. You've mentioned that you've watched Paw Patrol a lot, and you watch, what's the one video that they watch all the time that just drives you crazy? And I'll start Blippi. Blippi's too much for me.
I've luckily been able to avoid Blippi so far. So
what about
hope that they don't discover Blippi, because oh my goodness.
What about Bluey?
Bluey is a great show. Bluey is awesome. Have you watched it?
No.
That's a really, really good show. It's on Disney Plus. And
I've
it's
watched
like an Australian family.
4 minutes.
That is a show that if you can get your kids on, that you can also enjoy.
My son really likes Blaze and the Monster Machines.
Okay.
Heard that one. It's like a monster truck.
I know that one. Yeah. My kid just found it on YouTube. And then he found the best of. So it was, what's their catchphrase again? Like right before they like go super fast and win every time.
Blaze up.
We gotta go. Yeah. Anyway, it's like something super cheesy, and like every 30 seconds they kept saying that and saying that and saying that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this isn't real life.
So what we do, Dan the Man, just to annoy him and my sister, is we'll send the boys the most annoying toys ever. Just those toys where it just take you just one button and it'll just play something that's super annoying for like 6 seconds, just to annoy them.
My son has a little button. It's like an easy button that you push, and it's the Baby Shark song.
Oh my gosh!
And now my daughter loves that thing. And
every parent is not a fan of that anymore. Man, you talking about a team of people taking the world by storm?
But wait a
single household.
That song is old. It is old. But they put the animation on it, and then they had the kids dancing, and that was it.
Every household.
That cute little mascot, Pink Fong. Like,
look, he knows the names and stuff. That's trauma right there. It's the PTSD. He's like,
that's why when I really get annoyed, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles going on every time going on, and then now that the Ghostbusters animated series is another one, boom, it's going on.
I tried getting my son into Power Rangers, but I feel like an old man when he tries to watch it. Like this show sucks. Like,
I love Power Rangers. I love it.
I will try that one eventually, but I haven't tried yet.
Your sons will love it, RJ, and you know it. You just don't want to pull them away from Ninja Turtles and
I wouldn't mind if they watch Power Rangers.
You know, your oldest now would be like this. It's morphin' time.
We're trying. He already has the Dino Power rock that he pulls out. Dino Power, and then he runs around.
Wait till he watches Power Rangers and he understands that there's actual powers that you can get together with your team into a giant robot. And
so we've been staying away from guns. And that's the only thing I would worry about with Power Rangers is that there are some guns there. So I've been trying to do like Ghostbusters. I just tell him that, it's a magic wand and there's magic coming out, and he gets that a little bit, but so I don't know what happened, but for a little while everything was pew pew and like, making guns, but we've been able to walk him back from that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's important. Early exposure to early exposure is important. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So Danny, man, we're about 6-7 minutes out from closing, man. We covered a lot. We did cover a lot, man. And you know, the thing that I have for you right now, is there anything that we may have left out that you want to touch on, that you want to leave us with? Again, we got about 6 minutes, so there's no immediate rush right now, but what else would you like to talk about, man? I mean, again, the floor is yours.
I'd just like to say this podcast community has had an impact on people, including myself. You surround yourself with people who want to better themselves and encourage it. For a problem this big, it's hard to find the right help because everyone's addictions are different. Everyone has specific needs that has to be met. And it's a lifelong process. It's a daily commitment, and it's not something you can just say, "Oh, I'm done." You know, right. You have to work at it. Like you guys always say, let's try to be better tomorrow than we were today, because if you're not, at least you tried. I love that saying.
I think we keep it.
Came up with that catchphrase really early, and that was awesome. You know, it sticks.
You know what they say: a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Definitely. I just want to thank both of you for the opportunity to tap in and share my story, because I appreciate you guys in so many ways. Keep fighting the good fight.
You're way too
people
kind,
that
man.
actually care.
You're way too kind, man. Way too kind. This helps us. This helps us sleep at night, though, man. Words like that, us knowing that we're not the biggest podcast, we don't have the largest platform, but we understand that our goal is, if we're helping one person, then look, we've done our job.
Definitely,
we've done our job. And that's once you get to the place in your recovery where you're at a comfortable position, you're in a stable position. It is your duty to help others. That's what it is. It is your duty to help others.
It could be something little as just encouraging words. That's all you need.
We got to get together. We got to get together, man. We got to make it happen.
Definitely.
I know I personally look forward to seeing your name in chat on Thursdays and Sundays. Yeah. So you always bring the good questions, like, you know, Noshan said on Thursday night with your, you know, the stadium that wasn't Denver. That was a really good question.
Really good question.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't ask that. So, and then just
it's cool,
your kind words and the way, you know, you and Carrie interact, and
Ginny,
you interact with everybody. Like, it's just, it's so awesome to see that, you know, we don't always, like today we are interacting with chat a little bit, but usually we don't, because we have guests on that don't understand Twitch. But you're coming from the community, and you're usually there interacting, and we see the conversations that you all have. Like, that's what gets us, you know, really inspired, that we are creating a community where everybody can help one another. And, you know, it's not just, you know, we're not dependent on one person, where, you know, we have each other that we can lean on, that we can trust. That's huge. That's big. And we allow for growth, because we all had to grow.
Lift the people up around you.
Yeah.
That's just going to make this community better.
Indeed.
Rising tide lifts all boats.
Indeed. Let me share a little bit more here in the chat. Ginny asked, does your children, my son does, by the way, Ginny, yes. Do they do TikTok dances? My son, he's 5, so he's older. So his uncle has a TikTok, and they do a lot of TikTok dances. How about your children, Dana, man? Well, they're young. They're younger.
They're not really. I don't do TikTok, so
I'm
not against it. I just never got into it. So.
Yeah, it's his uncle on his mother's side, so it's, well, obviously I don't have a brother, but yeah, it's yeah, he likes to do all that stuff. But I just wanted to give this real quick. Ginny, Freezy, I always struggled with the name. My apologies. Obviously, Yogurt, Carrie, everybody in the chat. Thank you from Arjuna. We really appreciate it. Dana, man, we thank you, man, because the feedback would not be here if it wasn't for you being so open, you being so authentic, with sharing. It's awesome.
Love seeing you guys grow, and what it's become today. It's a really good thing, you know. You don't have to change the world overnight, but little things can help.
We appreciate it. RJ, what you got for a man in the night? It's the last thing you got.
You know, I've been pretty effusive with my praise, and I mean everything about it. Like when we first started and having someone answer when we had questions and having someone who you know is listening on the other end is such a big boost. Just knowing, I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart because you being there from the start really, it has helped us create this so far. And you know, the community wouldn't be as great as it is without you. You being there really helps, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, Dan the man, you've helped us too. I don't think that we touched on that, but you've helped us as well in our journey. The words that you've shared with us, you being present, you asking questions, all of that is such just positive affirmations, man. It's
definitely,
and it allows for us to, you know, once we turn the camera off, we sit back and we process it all. We're like, okay, you know, I must stay on this path because now there's more folks in my life who are relying on good messages on Thursdays, good messages on Sundays. And obviously, in order for us to give those messages, we must remain on our recovery journey. So it's mutually beneficial. So thank you.
Hey,
that's all I got, man.
Well, Dan, if people want to keep up with you, where can they keep up with you?
Well, I'm on Facebook and Twitter under Daniel Anderson, along with 5,000 other Daniel Andersons. But to make it easier, it can be found in the Untapped Keg community pages. So,
well, in my book, there's only one. There's only one Dan Anderson. Dan the man. Yogurt. I'm kidding.
Hey, Animal's a respectable name too. I like that.
Love it.
I like that nickname. I had to compete, so I was like, what can I do? Oh, Dan the man. Yeah, heck yeah.
Ever since it's been fantastic.
I love sports. I got into it through Monte. Like I was friends with him on Facebook, and he started the podcast. And I didn't know RJ at the time, but I'm glad I got to know you too. And it's just a good thing, you know. You both are great people, and I appreciate the things you do.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you for the.
Yeah, sweet man.
I appreciate it, and it's been a journey, and you've been there for all of it. So, thank you for sticking with those first episodes that were basically all about the pandemic. So,
yeah, it was kind of a crappy time to get into a podcast, but at the same time, it was good. You know?
It was definitely not what we were expecting to start in our first year, but it worked out. It worked out. Now we're here. So
life's always throwing wrenches, so you just got to go with the flow.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Exactly.
That's what I say every time I play Frogger in traffic at work. You can dodge a car, you can dodge a ball. Oh, thank you for everything that you've done for us, Dan, and we're glad that you're here, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week too. So,
yes, sir.
We'll definitely be in there. We will meet up in person. It's gonna happen. So
awesome! Can't wait. We're all fully vaccinated, right? Let's do it.
The truth.
Let's do it.
The truth.
Let's do it.
So if anybody wants to find us, Untapped Keg everywhere. And you know what? We will catch you next Thursday for a sports podcast, or next Sunday.
We got a lot.
So
we got a lot to talk about Thursday too.
What happened?
I've been doing my homework now, man. There's been a lot of well, obviously we got playoffs? The Lakers talk. Luka dominating. The Nuggets obviously making it past the Trailblazers. I mean, we got a lot to cover.
It's been back. That's the only thing that matters.
Back. Yelich crushed him
I knew
yesterday.
Dan would appreciate that.
He crushed yesterday.
And it was a good pitch he hit too. And that's what made, when I watched it again, it was like, okay, that wasn't just like a hanging breaking pitch. No, it was a good pitch that he hit out the opposite way. So that shows that he's starting to heat up a little bit. But this isn't sports talk. Save that for Thursday. We appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you in the chat as always. Thank you all you listeners out there. We love you. Find us at Untapped Keg. And let's try to be better tomorrow than we were today. Because at least if we don't make it, we tried. And Dan, thank you. We love you, man.
Thank you guys. Love you guys too. Man. Thanks for having me.